So I think you're right. Managing the economy, limiting it the best they can is their best chance. That said, we do have to take a quick peek back over at our sponsors for this one. It is Vulcan, of course, and ESEA is live, apparently. ESEA ESL Pro League is live, according to that, but we'll take a quick peek. Just, again, if you guys want to play Vulcan, we YOLO'd this team, by the way, Sprawl. We picked this team, like, just me and Vendetta, just by clicking, and we saved $1.
Nice.
We spent $9,999, saved $1 at the end of the $10,000 budget. The only interesting thing is, though, is that Titan and the Envy game that were supposed to be after this one are actually rescheduled. So we have a bunch of players from those teams that aren't going to get to play. So I think we might be screwed on this one. In fact, half of our team was in that game. But we do have Pimp going back in this one. He should pick us up some more points. He's our only Dignitas player, and they had a doubleheader. That was silly of me. Yeah, we're going to lose this.
And how did he do in the
time.
last two? Was he at least up there? Or?
Picked us up. 33 kills, 32 deaths, 7 assists, 17 headshots for a score of 87. But yeah, I think we're screwed on this one, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
This is not looking good. Either way, if you guys want to play Vulcan, definitely beat me, because if you don't, that's probably bad. Click the banner below the window and use the promo code COUNTERPIT. They'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. And huge shout out to them for making a lot possible. These guys are helping us put on this league. They're putting on the new talk show, which is, I think, good for CS. They're doing a lot of work lately. So that said, it is going to be Inferno, like you mentioned, and I think you hit the nail on the head by saying the start for Dignitas has to be better. They seem to be good in the late game stuff when the economy is stabilized, but if they never give themselves the chance early, it's a long comeback for them.
Yeah, I honestly love T-Side Na'Vi as well, as they have some different plays and tactics that not everybody's learned how to master, those kind of late round plays. So I think Inferno is, although it is the map choice of Dignitas, this is still a very strong map for Na'Vi. So I think we're gonna have a lot of banging going on early on here.
I like to see it as well. I love seeing T-sided teams because, a CT side shutdown is one thing. There's a lot of different ways that can happen. If it's aggressive CT side, I enjoy seeing that style gameplay, but passive CT sides, I don't think as interesting as watching someone get like a really precise entry. So T-sided teams and T-sided games are really exciting for me. So
yeah,
I do hope.
And sometimes Na'Vi, they go with that early style, but a lot of times we've traditionally seen it time and time again. If things aren't working out, they kind of go back to that same kind of late round style. But I agree, though. Early round stuff can definitely get the momentum going quickly. And for Dignitas, I think that's what they're looking for.
And I see the really intelligent chat is spamming away the Karambit giveaway. There actually is a Karambit giveaway. However, that is not the way you win. You have to sub. First 250 subs, we'll do it when we hit that number. And fire that off to a lucky winner. But you idiots that are spamming with that exclamation point, all you're really doing is showing off how much cancer you have. And unfortunately, I feel pity upon your timeline of life that is left within you.
Yep, not the correct keyword there, but it is what it is. So I guess we're just waiting for everybody to jump in the server here. And being that I was just taking a look at the groups at the moment, and for this is Group A, correct? We got Na'Vi that's played to one draw. And I guess considering you just had that one map, Gamers 2 versus Dignitas, so now Gamers 2 is at a draw. No one in this Group A has pulled off 2 wins in one best of 2. Is that correct? Everybody's sticking with draws at the moment.
Yeah, everyone in this group has draws, which is actually remarkable. The other group, we finally had a winner. Actually, I'll bring that back up really quickly. The other group, we finally did have a winner. Envious picked up the first series out of the entire league the other day by beating Penta. So they actually, in one match, have more points than Dignitas have in 2. And they themselves also had a draw against TSM. So we've had tons of 1-on-1 series, which will equalize themselves. Now, the interesting thing about that for this particular division is that the top 2 teams, they go directly to the upper bracket. The middle 2 teams, they go to the lower bracket. The bottom 2 teams, they're out. So this puts a bit of pressure on Virtus Pro because essentially it's going to be hard for them, unless everyone keeps drawing like this, it's going to be hard for them to win out one of the top 2 positions. It gives a massive chance to teams like Na'Vi and Ninjas and Pajamas who have yet to play a match to really make a statement in this and pick up the top 2 teams in this group, the top 2 seeds in this group rather. Whereas Group B, Envious, just by picking up that one game and tying with TSM, give themselves, I think, the best chance. Now I think Mouse could actually slip past TSM if they win enough series, but that'll be yet to be determined. Of course, they're the qualifying team, but they are half of the Penta team that was essentially invited beforehand.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. The fact that yeah, you come out and you put in two map, or rather, you win one map, you lose one though, and now obviously you're given pretty good opportunity for other people to pass you up if they have a very convincing performance. So it really kind of brings the best out of a team for two solid maps rather than you kind of falter in the second one, you tie it. You want to really, especially like you were saying, Virtus Pro now in a situation where they might get passed purely because they've got two ties under their belt there.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, it really does stabilize a lot of teams that are at the bottom just by picking up the draw. It gives them a better chance for upsets later in the best of two, but again, it really hurts the top teams. VP, like I say, they puts them in a bit of a bind to secure a top two spot, which I still expect them to get through the group. It does necessarily mean that they have to play from the lower bracket once we get into the playoffs, and that'll be detrimental to them because, again, VP is a team that, although consistent, are consistently... How do I want to say this? They never, even when they win tournaments, it's never like they dominate tournaments. They always have to grind it out. It's just the style of play that they have. So by them being already in a lower bracket, it doesn't give them that second chance that they often rely on. We saw them use that Star Series coming from the lower bracket, almost made it past TSM. We saw them come from the lower bracket, actually. The only tournament that they've consistently made the upper bracket in is ESEA. And, like, usually they have to fight their way through the lower bracket, and where they're already in it, it's going to be problematic.
Yeah, team that definitely is based a lot on momentum throughout the tournament. As the stakes kind of get higher and higher, you can see their performances really start standing out. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But again, here on Inferno, we're knifing for sides, correct? That's the format to see who starts on well,
of course.
Each side for sure. So I think that's a big advantage. Again, a best of two. You really do obviously want to start things off. Well, I guess Dignitas just came off of their own best of two against Gamers 2 going 1-1. So they're a little bit warmed up here. I'm wondering if Navi's in the same boat. Obviously, they're going to put in a little bit of tactical warm-up and beforehand some deathmatch and that kind of stuff. But we'll see if Dignitas can come out stronger purely because a little bit more warm with the team environment. Yeah, you can go in a deathmatch, but really getting in with your team, having a whole match under your belt already today, that's a good advantage for them, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to remember is that Dignitas have been playing in the last series. They're coming straight into this same server. They're going to be quite comfortable in this environment, which I know that sounds like a crazy thing to make mention of. They're going to know essentially how things feel here. They're going to know the registration. They're going to understand the server. It's very minor. Ultimately shouldn't make a big impact, but it definitely means that Navi are the ones that have to find their feet early on. Like you say, I mean, big start for Dignitas is important. I completely agree. They actually started with Cadian in map 1 of the last series we saw. He stood in for Nico, who showed up at halftime, and Cadian played amazingly well. I wouldn't say amazingly well, but very well considering on his CT side. And, you know, now they have to have Nico step up with the op on this map. And again, he's going to be fighting against Guardian, who is a lot of people, a lot of oppers' least favorite player to play against. So we'll see if they can pull that off. I mean, I once asked Kenny S, for example, if he said, I said, who's your least favorite player to play against, or which op scares you? He said, no one scares me, but Guardian's the most annoying, just from the clever way he plays. I also think Navi's really capable of smoking through or flashing through the smokes at the bottom of Banana, so we'll see if they take advantage of that situation, because there is a lot to be gained from winning that Banana control, and Dignitas typically don't play it as deep as the other Danish teams. TSM, for example, they smoke really low inside the Banana. Deep smoke usually thrown from an A player. That allows them to get control even down as far as tree. By the way, I don't have my text-to-speech turned off in Mumble, so that's not going to be most effective. No, that's my fault.
My bad.
That's my fault. But either way, I mean, like I was saying, it doesn't necessarily limit the control, because if they can flash through that smoke, they can actually take that fight and force a passive B, which then means you can't really lead a rotation and stack A. So they're going to have to be really careful on how quickly they get a read on the opposition to get the rotations going. Even if they have to leave one player weak at A towards Speedway who can throw those smokes out for B and be in a rotation position, it does still weaken the A side, and that opens up a lot for Navi simply because of how aggressive they can play on Banana.
Yeah, Banana control, absolutely massive, and of course the standard, I think what you were probably just getting at is the bottom of Banana smoke and kind of sending players early in the round to get control of that, and then there is a lot of openings in that you can put that one player there and then, yeah, rotate. Maybe have 4 on the A bomb site, and then Guardian comes into the picture. When he's on the CT side, there's some rounds where maybe he utilizes that, has a spawn for Banana, decides to peek down there. Alt mid, obviously a very dangerous territory for him as well. So yeah, no, I'm honestly really excited for this to get started. I think we're going to have a good match here, and I would personally, I'm going to give a slight nod to Na'Vi, but I think Dignitas could definitely make this work here. I've seen some pretty darn good things. Now MSL is leading them pretty well at the moment, so we'll see how things go.
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to pick Zava's brain about when he was here last game. It's just simply the, how Fetish goes from being such a CT-sided leader on 2 straight Danish rosters, and then when both replacements bring in a lot more T-side presence to those teams, how much that really changes things. And it just seems to be an organizational thing. MSL's doing a much better job. Not to discredit Fetish. He was very busy toward the end of his career, obviously. He's got a full-time job now as well, and hence why he's not even playing anymore. But it's interesting to see how much that changed. But Knife for sides, I would think they both want CT on this map as well. Again, Dignitas need that start. Na'Vi, they can do it from either side. I would actually say Dignitas need the CT more here.
I would agree with that, and yeah, this map more than Dust 2, this is a pretty deciding Knife round, as you do want to start the best one on the side you're a little bit more comfortable on. It looks like it is going to be Dignitas picking it up. So like you said, I think that's more critical for them than Na'Vi. That being said, Na'Vi, they got a pretty scary T-side as well, so this should be interesting to start things off on Pistol here.
Well, let's see if they can do exactly that.
If we take a look at the equipment on the board, we got MSL picking up a smoke and a flash, Nico double flash and a diffuse kit. Garby is going to have a flash and a nade, so tons of utility on the board. It's only going to be pimping AZ with nade and or rather just armor on themselves. The
more interesting aspect of this to me is that Edward and Seized have the only grenades right now. They went for armor, so they'll look to try and take a site with force rather than execution and isolating CT players. And I would assume that's going to be up Banana where they flood in through the connector, but where you pointed out, they've got smokes out on the other side. They have to wait for those to dissipate before they can get the opening, and MSL's already sitting primed and cocked and ready with a nade. In fact, it's a secondary smoke that he's got pulled out, so he'll drop that to cover off and delay even further. And as a result, Na'Vi already have to reconsider things.
Yeah, Na'Vi going a little bit slow here, but heading back towards top mid. Going to send a couple shots here towards Arches, and Pimp's going to receive a bit of damage on the truck side, but here comes the Arch side play, as it's going to be Nico to get dropped first and foremost. Pimp now going to have to take his spawn, and will land a nice headshot onto Edward. Guardian drops him, though, and now they should be able to take this A-bomb site. Kirby still alive and Pip, though.
Not for long, though. Guardian, he comes out the door, down the balcony, and takes him, and winning Pit definitely wins you the site, specifically when Guardian can do that. Wow, so Na'Vi will get the start.
I didn't even realize that was an ace. Massive start from him as he tore some heads off. Beautiful play.
Exactly the start you don't want a guy like Guardian to have if you're on Dignitas' side right now, because, again, once he gets the op up, he's going to be an absolute menace. And not only that, showing his aim is on with 5 kills. He just got a lot of economy from that, so he'll be able to buy into it a little bit sooner. He's going to go for the AK right now because he's the one in the position to do that, but with SMGs out for Flamey and Zeus, they'll still be able to build bank with that. We'll see if the crossfire at the top of middle can work right now for Dignitas' side. They have got Kirby up toward Boiler, so a little bit more presence there, and really passive on B. Navi's still scouting that.
And Nico looking to fall back towards Arches here as their smoke's going to dissipate, so they decide to hold more passive angle here on the A-bomb site. Nico actually looking to rotate over, cheat over towards the B-bomb site, and as we can see, might not be the best call. They got Flamey at the moment on the Na'Vi side, moving up in back halls. Edward poking up at top mid as well, and looks like they're going to go for an A-side play here. Once again, Pimp going to see that the molly goes down on Arch side, so he's going to have to fall off towards the library position. Kirby still alive in sight, but again, they only have 2 players here compared to the 3 over at B. Nico will now rotate over, but a little bit late to the engagement here.
Speaking of late, really late smoke from Edward. That forces Pimp out when it gets dropped, though, and Edward was waiting for it, so he gets the shot and covers off library. It actually turns back in his favor. As Sees, he'll just watch for AZ on this rotation. Does take a massive amount of damage, though, so there's decent damage being dealt, but unfortunately it's not converting to kills right now. And the last player, Nico, we already saw his position inside the smoke at library. Unorthodox pushed up to the left side, but Edward was waiting all the while, so twice he gets kills in library. one before and one after the smoke, and Na'Vi, they'll stay alive, all 5 of them, to build up bank again. I mean, this is the important thing. They start to build this economy. They've got 5,200 on Flamey already, so even if they want to swap, if Guardian ends up not dying, even if they want to swap an op with him and throw the AK back at him, this is going to work for them.
Yeah, exactly. Things are looking really good here for Na'Vi, the anti-ecos. They make it through, and that was actually a forced-up round from Dignitas as well. They invested a little bit, and as we can see, they're going to stack the B bomb site in this round, as they don't really have any other equipment to go for anything else too cheeky, so they're just going to stack the bomb site and see how that works out. Na'Vi, though, I got a feeling that they're going to be able to figure this out. We saw in that last round, they're pretty slow working on the anti-ecos as they want to just poke and prod, find out what tricks you're trying to throw in their direction, and now it seized one man. He's going to come into this B-bomb site. He's in for a bit of a surprise. That being said, it's a single Galil, and he's going to get a ton of information. Sees, I think he saw at least 3 players on death cam there. So you see the read has been made. They're going to slowly continue up towards this A-bomb site.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a Galil. It's not an AK. They've already built up the bank in the previous rounds. So MSL, although he goes over to scout out what's going on at A, he's going to realize that they're already there. They've already figured it out. There's no trying to retake the stack and cut off the site. In fact, the retake's not going to work either, because Edward, he's continuing on where he left off in the last round. And Pimp, Nico, Kierby, all in tight positions. Although Kierby did dink up Zeus really early, so in the repeak, you could just do that final damage to him. Edward then falls back. Nico's found Flamey. Things are starting to drop. They've got the SMGs all down. They still have the rifles up right now for Na'Vi again, and they've got lots of money on the players that had the SMGs, so this isn't a massive loss. Again, I expect Guardian there. He's going to close out Pimp. I expect Guardian's going to get an op-out one way or another once the guns come out.
And Nico going to try and find one more frag here. They did all right damage there, considering on the round where they buy up some pistols and actually invest a bit, they don't get a single frag, and then that one, they're able to take them down to just the 2 players, so not too bad there. Now, now, like you said, there's the big green weapon. We got Guardian out on the field, and they do not have the same weapon to contest on the CT side, so we'll see how that comes into play, as it looks like Guardian going to start things off. Ooh, he's got the Hyper Beast as well. It's a beautiful one. He's going to head towards Banana to start off the round.
And this is where he can be so effective. Again, he's really aggressive at taking Banana with the op. We can already see it. He's leading the way up all the way, hard scoped into the corner too. So even if they keep smoking, look for the flash, but the flash actually comes against him this time. AZ pops out and the op's down. It's Zeus that has to try and recover, managing to get AZ, and luckily that smoke came through to put out the flames because Zeus was trapped in the corner.
And that was a big way for them to start, as now Guardian down, and they're trapped behind a smoke here, so MSL is going to throw some fire through that smoke. He's got Nico to help him out, but now they're going to have to play, well, now on the CT side as well, 2-on-2 on each bomb site.
Yeah, exactly. It does force them to split up a lot, and as a result, although Kierby's playing on balcony, he's in a position where he could rotate really quickly to get out and cover off the arch side. But furthering that point up, Pimp's gone really passive on archway, so if he does go down, they still have someone close enough to the site to put up a contest for it. And Kierby's basically going to get one shot and drop into pit at from this position. They're still playing off each other too, because he's actually flashed out for Pimp so he could peek the lane as well. And in fact, he's going to bounce off the roof. So they're just checking everywhere. The problem is, by not finding anyone, that only means one possible scenario, and that means Nico's in a lot of pressure on B with MSL for the crossfire.
Yeah, 10 seconds left here, and typical Na'Vi late round play as we see MSL and Nico, though, come up with 2 big frags, and they will finally get the bomb set, but C's not able to get in a position that he's able to defend it at all. So they get the bomb set, not bad, but a little bit to be sought after there, as they did get the op on Guardian. They had their setup they were looking for, but one flashbang in Banana sent it all kind of down the drain, or at least in Guardian's book. He went down again immediately, very posted up at Carr. Then that flashbang play worked out pretty well. It was a trade, but that's not a bad trade if you're taking Guardian down.
No, of course. I mean, and that's what's really set the precedence for the entire round, because once he's out of it, they go back to their standard play. Keyed Stars and Na'Vi are really similar in the fact that when they execute, they'll execute very quickly. The problem was, in that case, Na'Vi, you said it, they left themselves 10 seconds. So the initial trade on entry is Guardian this round. He's going to make up for lost ground last time, but the problem is they give up that timing. So if they lose that trade on entry, they have to commit to the bomb plant, which is what they do. And unfortunately, that makes MSL's job a lot easier when one player's already down and one player's planting a bomb that he can peek out. He's only got one more player to deal with. But Guardian, look at him coming back around. This is working out all for Na'Vi as it's only AZ and Nico left in this round, and already AZ looks like he's comfortably hidden away at B.
Yeah, that was a very quick round from Na'Vi. As early we saw Pimp try and work that mid pick, and he actually had an opportunity, whiffed a shot, and then re-peeked. And that's something that you're just not going to get away with when you're facing against the op of Guardian. Maybe he suspected that they weren't able to get it out. That could have been the call, I'm not sure, but nonetheless, he goes down, and then they take down Kirby very quickly in 8 apartments. Nico, in the process, is trying to salvage that op in mid, grabs it, but now he's at Arch side, can't defend the A-bomb site, and basically Na'Vi has their way with things, and they will be able to save the op on the CT side, AZ saving his M4A1S as well. But another round here for Na'Vi, and that is not what Dignitas was hoping for at all, as they're actually going to force up around this weapon, and we see some FAMAS making it onto the field.
All these guys have various .coms as their weapon names.
Of course. the day and age we live in, right?
Exactly. It's going to be Guardian's Hyper Beast that Nico holds on to. And Edward's Dragon Lore that Guardian holds on to. So no one holding their own weaponry, but we'll see who's going to get the better shots. AZ wants to get aggressive out on B. That nade, though, coming in. This is just Na'Vi playing with them, because like we said, they'd like to wait and try and execute late. There's really nowhere for them to go. That counter flash actually completely cancels out that play. But look at Kirby, the information he gets just from being inside Boiler.
Yeah, Edward gets dropped there as he peeks out from the balcony, and you can see smart play. He's just going to fall back to site, work from pit once again. That doesn't want to give up any easy frags, and Pimp actually peeks towards mid and takes down Flamey as he was trying to lurk on this A-bomb site near lane and top mid. So now only 3 Ts left, and currently they're actually boosting Guardian up over the smoke into the B-bomb site. But they're not able to spot anybody as of yet. AZ playing in the dark spot, MSL at the second set of oranges. So big advantage here for Dignitas. And again, you know, they lost that last round. They want to be back in winning ways. Want to start stringing some rounds together here. And the economy at Na'Vi, if they drop this round, they should still be able to get one out. But at least it's a step in the right direction, as now Na'Vi slowly lurking up into B.
Slowly indeed. So not a swift execution this time. They just want to lurk in, see if they pulled any rotations off. And it's MSL who picks up a double. Zeus at least gets Pimp back, but Dignitas, this is actually better than what they did against the previous opponent when they played against the, excuse me, why am I forgetting who their previous opponent was?
Gamers 2.
Thank you very much. Gamers 2, where both rounds they lost, again, they started off 0-6 and 0-7, or 5-0 and 7-0. So this is a better comeback for them to keep the economy rolling. They've actually got them at least limited. They haven't broken it yet, but Guardian doing shots like that, taking the op out of Nico's hands early, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, it's so hard to deal with that, and at the moment, it looks like Dignitas is actually willing to battle him at mid, and I don't agree with that at all. You need to figure out another way as you're just challenging him to aim duels, and here they go. They're going to try and work up towards truck side. Pimp finds one, but it's Guardian once again. Takes him down, Flamey onto Kirby, and this round's falling apart as now MSL trapped on Arch side. He's smoked off, and they're just going to straight up save here. They have to head back to B, and this is not the way the CTs want these rounds to go. Trading back and forth, Na'Vi is loving this right now.
And again, they had the economy in a situation where if they win this round, they force Na'Vi back onto a save, and then you really start to hinder Guardian, in particular, his economy of getting the op out. But you see what happens when he gets the first pick. They build on that. Not only was first pick, they took down the op of Dignitas, so they couldn't even go for any information picks or entry point frags with that. So just by Guardian getting rolling, the only round they've picked up since guns have come out on Navi's side was actually, or excuse me, on Dignitas' side, was actually the one where they traded Guardian immediately on Banana. It makes a big difference. You've got to find a way to limit him, and he's won both picks in mid so far that he's had.
Yeah, I don't think they can continue to try and take those peaks on the CT side. They have to figure out something. As we can see, 11-1-2. Guardian is running the show at the moment on the T side. And like you said, the one time where they picked up a round, that was because they took down Guardian so early. So looking for something here to try and counter the Opper, but Inferno is a great map for Guardian just because of the way the lanes are set up. It's actually hard to get them out of commission as they are heading back up Banana. They've left the bomb and seized towards mid, and he's actually going to be smoking, flashing up, but it's going to be Zeus to open up onto MSL, Flamey onto AZ, and the B bomb site completely open for business.
Yeah, Na'Vi again. They're just making quick work of it now. They're getting rolling. Dignitas, this is a big problem because they ended up being able to buy in this round, but unfortunately in the next one they're going to be broken, so we're going to end up with a really lopsided scoreline against them early again. And the problem is that it's not like they're climbing out of the hole, they're just getting into it now, so this could go even further for Na'Vi.
Yeah, we've got just 3 rifles being saved, and yeah, that'll be 6-2. We'll see if Kirby's actually going to be able to save this, as it looks like they're getting close on his position back in mid. And actually, Flamey's going to find out. I might be surprised to find Nico inside a library, so he goes down. The monetary situation, though, on the T side, they can definitely afford to lose a rifle or so, or hopefully to take one away, and we'll be able to do so. Kirby will go down, so won't be able to bring that into the next round. We can see 2,000 pretty much across the board for Dignitas. That is, that's a painful monetary situation for them to be at 9 rounds into the match and down this count against the T side of Na'Vi.
And, I mean, even in this round where they're going to force up around those 2 saved guns and the armor, they only have 1 kit, and it's on on Pimp. So they're going to have to play him well, and he's going to be actually right now at the far side of A. So if this goes into B, they're going to have to be really swift on a retake, even if these shotguns can even do anything for them. Kirby wants to get aggressive with this Deagle. We've seen him do it a few times in the past 2 maps, but very nearly, he was definitely spotted by Guardian, but very nearly overstayed his welcome on that peak. And it pays off. He actually does get Flamey. Meanwhile, AZ using those shotguns. So they've brought themselves up to a man advantage, but still need to be careful here from Kirby. Very aggressive stuff.
Oh, man, but he punishes Edward. Edward spots him out and wants to go for the frag, but finds out the hard way that Kirby, his deagle's on at the moment, actually able to collect that AK-47 as well. So 4-on-2 as didn't have a lot of equipment going into the round, and quite honestly, wasn't a big fan of AZ and MSL both with Mag 7s trying to hold on Banana, but you do what you gotta do. And now Seized, slowly moving up with Guardian. And interesting to see that they put Seized, he's got 27 HP, decide to throw the op on him. Guardian's gonna be rifling in this spot, so Kirby, we'll see if this flashbang's going to work out, as I think he's going to pop one towards Archside, and would be a good idea. There you go. He's going to spot out Seized as he slowly moves up. The flashbang comes in. Seized fully blind. Guardian will find the trade, though. Is now 1-on-3, but with only 20 seconds left, needs to make a move.
Yeah, really well done to get that straight out. Now Nico's going to come all the way back over from B, but the bomb is going to be in position. Nico's going to get there in time. That flash. Guardian completely blind, but turns around with the op. How does he hit the first one? Nico holds true. Oh, God. Guardian, that was ridiculous turn back as the flashbang came in. He wasn't fully blinded, but partially whited out. Reactionary flick, but either way, Dignitas pick up this round. That's big because that was a major force buy for them. Their money was tight, and this will get them back in a little bit closer. 6-3, still 6 rounds Na'Vi T side. That's pretty scary.
That is pretty terrifying, and Dignitas is yet to put 2 rounds in succession, and that's what they need right now. They haven't been able to put Na'Vi in low economy situations, as once again Guardian gets to play around with his op. They've got Nico with an op on the CT side, but again, where does he go with it? He can't really directly challenge Guardian. It's just not a great... You might win... It might happen where you win them, but Guardian is just so skillful for that weapon. It's just not usually the best idea to duel him straight up, but Seized takes down MSL early, and this is actually interesting as they haven't put much pressure towards B. Seized just managed to get a pick while he was working on Banana, and the rest of the T's are over towards A, so they move Pimp over towards B. Now it's only Nico and Kirby hanging on at A.
Yeah, Nico's being really aggressive as well, so on that op, he has to fall. They know he has no choice. He has to get back into a passive position, and interestingly, they're going to go for the same setup they had with Pimp, where they tried, I think it was round 6, to flash out, on the arch side, cover the lane just passively, and then they'll support based on the drop inside the pit from the player on balcony. But this is a really tight spot to be in, because as we can see, Na'Vi actually has 2 players inside the apartment. So if you drop off that balcony, you rely on Nico to cover that doorway while the pit player then has to cover the lane, and that's not even going to happen. Guardian already finds Kirby. That's a bit of a careless overextension from him, and yet sight open. Na'Vi's got control this round now.
Yeah, those tiny little mistakes. Na'Vi is just very, very trained to look for those small opportunities. Both these teams are, but we see that Kirby a little bit careless, and he gets picked, and that just opens up. They know that they're probably playing 2 on each side, or at the very least, they might have one that's in CT spawn, a quick rotate, but they open up on A, realize it's probably going to be only one person, throw the numbers in, and it worked out really well, as now they have 5 left alive. Once again, back to losing a round is Dignitas. They still haven't been able to put 2 in a row, and this has been the story of their CT half thus far. Yeah,
I mean, it's so weird that a Dignitas, a team that's so well or known to be so well coordinated on their CT, specifically again under the guidance of Fetish, is suddenly slipping up in the last 3 maps we've seen on their defense. Again, Na'Vi, very worthy opponent on their T side. Inferno, they're quite aggressive on. They haven't actually had much, like you said last round, in fact, where C's got that early pick. They didn't have to actually put that much presence on Banana as you'd normally expect out of teams, but it's just Dignitas really not holding on to the angles. Again, Kirby gets a little bit over-aggressive on his peek inside the site, and it costs them dearly.
And Guardian finding an opening pick here. Once again, AZ goes down. It's only MSL with an MP9 hanging on to B, so that's why we can see they're going to rotate Nico over, and Pimp was actually thinking about as well, but he will stay posted up arch side. Kirby with his Deagle once again. Can the magic come through? That's the question, as he is going to flash his way. Ooh, he flashes his way into an HE grenade, and that's going to be the end of Kirby. So, picking towards A, it's now only Pimp. And he has a tall task as Flamey's going to peek him from balcony, and he goes down. So, only Nico and MSL, and once again, MSL is just going to be hiding out in the B-bomb site, saving that weapon. Nico looking for an exit frag, but even this, they've got so many rounds here on Na'Vi, and again, they're winning this round. They'll be able to buy next. Yeah, it's nice to take away some money from their economy, but at this point, it's about rounds. Dignitas needs some rounds on the board. 3 is just not going to do it on their CT half.
No, not at all. Not against Na'Vi. I mean, it would take a miracle. It would take, I mean, obviously at this point it takes the second round pistol to get even started and think about getting the rounds, but it's a matter of how many rounds are Na'Vi going to pick up here. They've already got 7. They've got Bomb down in this one with a massive advantage. Nico gone. You could have 8, maybe 9, even potentially more than that, and I think that's more than enough for a team like Na'Vi to close it out. I mean, we're still talking top 6 team in the world versus back into the top 10 at the best right now for Dignitas.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And this is a scary situation as Dignitas. We're not going to get too ahead of ourselves and say Na'Vi's getting the map, but moving on to Dust 2, Na'Vi is a terrifying beast on that map. And again, Guardian, that's kind of the question. Is Guardian going to show up? Guardian is showing up right now. 17-1-3. The score sheet for Na'Vi is unreal. He is just, yeah, he is having an outstanding performance right now.
Shot come in from Edward. He'll find the first on Pimp. Nico, he has to wait with the pistol, and it does work out, though. The P250, he'll get the shot. That puts Edward back down, brings it back to 4-on-4, but unfortunately, it's still just pistols to work with unless Flamey goes down right here, and he will. Now Kirby can push forward, pick up this AK. No armor to work with, but at least a rifle to try and hold this 3-on-3. And AZ, man, these P250s, they're peaking at all the right times because no one's catching the angles. Na'Vi getting obliterated off angle twice in a row there.
Yeah, we're going to see if Kirby's can do it again, though. It's nice pop flash. Actually, that was a team flash that came in. I was like, where did that come from? But Guardian is going to find himself in a very awkward spot. And yeah, both those players, I'm not sure who that flash came from, which one of the members, but nonetheless, both of them very blind as AZ found himself in a pretty opportune situation. May have been a little bit scared as, again, called out that he was in the B-bomb site, and they knew he had a weapon there, knew they had to deal with him. But that pop flash worked out well for him, and now Dignitas move up to 4. Can they find their second round in a row? That is the question here.
I mean, that's the big question. And they need to start stringing these together because although they aren't, fortunately, winning single rounds at the end of money bonuses that are forcing them back on full saves, they still aren't building into it. And at this point, it doesn't even matter. You need total numbers. So, MSL, he'll get fire dropped on him. That means they can't push back into Banana. It definitely means that Na'Vi aren't looking to execute that right there. In fact, they've already made it pretty clear they're going to A, but it means they can't get pushed down and lose that map control, even if they want to fall back on it later.
Kirby goes down on the same bomb site. They're going to try and take out of the balcony through backhauls, but we see a trade. Kirby onto Flamey, seized onto MSL as they actually open up over towards B. The bomb actually going to head on back as well, so AZ, oh, he pushes through the smoke and C's just waiting for him. And that is, we see time and time again, especially on this map, it's very tempting to push through that smoke in front of sight, as a lot of times you don't necessarily post someone out there, especially if you don't have the bomb set yet, but yeah, AZ pushes through and finds out the hard way that Seized, yeah, he is definitely ready for that kind of play. So Pimp and Kirby left in the situation.
And again, I mean, that Molotov that comes out from a T-side player at the top connection point of Banana, it means that the CTs can't push through it, get a deep banana presence that allows one rotator to go over. So they went back. They were already executing on A. They forced that rotation. Guardian's going to get Kirby at the end of this, but they forced that rotation over. They know that he showed up because as they were executing, they went slowly enough to wait for it. They know the second player who's going to call for the rotation back to bananas deep in the site. So really all they do is have to get one entry kill to take over B. And that's why they don't give up the banana map control. They could have just gone all in on A, but instead they play it more calculated. They give themselves the option just with a simple Molotov and go back when the time comes. And that was really well executed by Na'Vi.
Yeah, exactly. Classic Inferno play here, working both sides of the map, and that's where you kind of need control of one or the other, either apartments or banana on the CT side. If you give both to the T side, they've got so much room to work back and forth. Oh, what a pop flash is AZ. Oh, he had a bit of a heyday there as he was able to let loose, but only found one. He did some decent damage to another, but it's going to be MSL to find his second frag. In the meantime, Kirby is pushed up very aggressively. Coming through underpass and mid could spoil this entire execution as he is going to come up right behind Guardian. Spots him out. Guardian very low. He's going to try and continue the spray. He finds two. Flaming now in a 1v3 as he's wondering, where did my teammates go? All the aggression from Dignitas in that round, and Pimp's going to find Flamey as they try and move up towards A. So they're trying to make it 9-6 here. Yeah, the hard way.
Yeah, that's where they went. But that again, they haven't found 2 rounds in a row. At least this time they're closing the gap in between. They'll get 2 out of 3. But again, already 9 rounds Na'Vi. That's enough to work with, in my opinion, unless Dignitas can pull something out of their sleeve that I've not seen before. It's Nico. He'll head directly toward mid. But we'll see what Na'Vi. I mean, if they get double digits in the T side, this is a pretty much dominant half. Again, Guardian's almost dropped 20 already. He's got 10 more than anyone else in the server. I guess 9 more technically, but either way.
Yeah, disgusting scoreline for him. And the one thing that is going for Dignitas in this round, not a lot of equipment. As it's last round of the half, Na'Vi may have saved in the spot, but obviously they're going to spend everything they can, and they're going to go for an arch side wrap here as Nico finds one. Traded off, though. This A-bomb site in a lot of trouble as, wow, nice tap there from Kirby.
Yes, that gives the first kill at least to the way of Kirby, but they can still try and make this a little bit closer. Not if Seized will do that, though. Pimp's going to get caught, and Kirby, he'll get burned alive. Rather, excuse me, the other way around. He'll take down Seized, so it brings it back to a 2-on-2, and Kirby's still in pit, and it's such a good position to be in late in the round with Flamey dropping the bomb. He just has to hold on Zeus, and he comes out perfectly, and that is why pit, such a good position. You cannot rotate out too early, and Kirby that time called him out for overextending a little bit earlier. His patience pays off with the 4K, and it's a 9-6 half.
Yeah, pissed around. Very critical here for Dignitas, and honestly, even if they take it, it's going to be a difficult time, as Na'Vi, they have shown time and time again. They've got a lot of coordination, specifically on this map. It's pretty strong for them. At the Tier 1 level, maybe not the best team on it, but still, they are up there in performances on this map. And again, especially when Guardian, if you want to throw a variable in, Inferno performances when Guardian is on, and that's the situation like you were highlighting. He's at 21-1-7. We only played out a single half. That's very impressive to start things off. So
I mean, even taking away his ace, he still picked up a kill around.
Yeah, exactly. And those op frags and their impact frags as well. He's not standing around kind of just waiting for rotators and finding those frags once they open up a bomb site. They're ones that are allowing Na'Vi to actually move in. And that's huge to have an op like that. Obviously, the story of this, a lot of the success of Na'Vi being behind Guardian himself.
Seas takes Pimp to end it. So, this is even worse now for Dignitas, as Na'Vi could potentially put this, I mean, no bomb plant in that round. They go for a bit of a force here with Tech 9s and Deagles. They're pretty much committed at this point to saving for 3, unless they can obviously win this eco, but you're pretty much meaning that Na'Vi is going to be on 12. Kirby! Ooh. Man, this kid with the Deagle. You gotta love it. Zeus gets caught by that one.
Very impressive. Honestly, yeah, his Deagle is on point, and if we get hit another one here, they now have the player advantage in this round, and slowly moving up towards B. It's actually going to be Seized to try and put them down, and actually he will find Kirby as well as MSL. Flamey gets dropped via the MP7 of Flamey, and now it's only Pimp left on the field. Tech 9 in hand. Things are looking a little bit bleak for him. He'd like to get a little bit more damage done to the CT side, but it doesn't look like it's going to be so, as Seized pushes through the smoke. 4K for him with his M4A1S.
It was a brilliant start to shot, or excuse me, a brilliant shot to start things off by Kirby, but Na'Vi holds true. And again, they went for that force. They're going to do it again here with P250s. No armor, only a few nades to work with. So I think the goal in this round, based on that buy, is simply to get a bomb plant down and then get the guns out in the next round. Just give them more options to bring out the utilities by getting that bomb plant, but they're getting annihilated.
Oh my god.
Talk about SMG annihilation, and I think I would expect right now, I could be wrong, but I would expect they're not going to upgrade. Okay, they do. Okay, because this is where this is round 4 of this half. They've won 3. Zeus is going to hold on to his. This is the gamble play where the SMGs give you so much economy. This is something I actually want to talk about with Mo and whoever our guest will be that week, about how you don't necessarily have to upgrade because it's a 50-50. If you win, you build your economy even more. If you lose, you can still buy the next round. Whereas buying and losing, you're putting some pressure on your economy then.
And he can be like Zeus, just runs halfway up mid, finds a frag, and then just books it right on back, now hiding in the bomb site. So yeah, big frag, and like you said, they get a good chunk of change for those frags. Yeah, it's more difficult to get them, but if you play certain angles, you can find some favorable angles with the SMGs, even against the rifles, as they have been buffed pretty well. So yeah, I'd love to hear that topic being discussed.
It's proximity as well, right? I mean, the SMG up close is absolutely a menace with the firing rate that it has and with the armor penetration buff, but at distance, you're gonna be in a tough spot. So that's why you saw Zeus actually run down mid as deep as he did at the start, because he wants to get up close, look for a flash from his teammate, and then he says, okay, I'm not going to stick around if I haven't killed that many, and then he falls back and looks for another close angle to play. Now we're going to see full rifles because Zeus actually swaps for the FAMAS. Again, he doesn't have to upgrade because of that. His money right now, what's Zeus at? 7,200, and this is round 5.
It's a good chunk of change on round 5 as they are able to
oh my god, mirror image.
Zeus, the poor soul. Edward will put down Kirby. MSL actually finds one Deagle of his own, actually finds another Deagle frag. So yeah, Deagles are out to play as they're actually going to be a favorable spot here as Dignitas.
Shot from Pimp, takes down Edward. So Dignitas, they'll fire back. They've got this control of the site. Guardian, the last one left. At least it's potentially going to be a highlight-worthy play with a guy like Guardian, but I think in this position, it's an op that's worth saving. Again, they've got lots of money, so there's no reason for him not to push for exits. In this case, actually, looking for exits would be ideal. So we'll see if he goes really aggressive. Okay, he's actually going to save right here. I thought he might go aggressive and try and beat them at the bottom of Banana on escape, but if he could actually keep this gun, sure, that helps, but it would help twice as much if he could knock the guns away from the terrorists who are going to pick up their first round of the half.
Yeah, as like we were stating, the economic situation on the CT side, they have plenty money to play with. The T side, not so much. So any weapons they do have to rebuy, that's obviously just going to sink away anything that they've built up here. So coming into round 21 is 13-7. So obviously AKs across the board, and obviously, like we're saying, Na'Vi able to buy up, and Guardian keeps his op. So we'll see if he can do some big things in mid, or what the play is going to be as Dignitas, they need to put a lot of rounds in on their T side to make this comeback a reality. As actually Guardian's going to get sent down to 41 as he kind of shoulder peeks mid a little bit. I'm not sure if he was a little bit blind there, didn't realize that his shoulder had peeked out. It didn't look like he got any vision for it, and a lot of times we'll see the kind of shoulder peek to actually try and gauge how many people are out there. But, ooh, Flamey goes down. Sees now has to come up big from Car, and he gets traded off as he can only find one Guardian now, quick to rotate, but he needs to hit some shots, and he actually finds an edge in the smoke, takes down MSL. He finds a second one onto AZ. Are you kidding me? Now a 2-on-3 is Guardian just, yeah, he destroyed that B-side execute.
Man, people think that like slight gaps and smokes aren't that big of a deal. That is exactly why it's a big deal. He sees them both, and a guy like Guardian's not going to miss those shots. They will get a full smoke out this time, so he won't have vision of this bomb plant. AZ's going to put it, Nico is going to put it in position. But Zeus flashing over. They still got the man advantage. He'll man up and push through. Willie actually slows it off. And that flash would have caught him, but he could have gone through because they were both distracted. Now they're buying themselves a lot of time. So Dignitas are playing this reasonably smart right now. Unfortunately, Nico gets caught on top of the boxes. Second player in Emo, and they know it already. Edward checks it. Down he goes, and Na'Vi, they're going to be on 14 rounds just like that.
Yeah, the retake comes in, and yeah, didn't look too difficult for them, as honestly those locations, not bad post-plant, but one player dies before the other one's even able to help out, especially with the angles the CTs were taking from. But nonetheless, it'll be Na'Vi moving up 14-7. And yeah, Guardian, I still can't believe those shots. Again, slight gap in the smoke, and he's able to just basically, he catches a bit of motion, and he's able to basically predict where he needs to land that shot. Just huge plays from him, as otherwise the B-bomb site just completely wide open, and here they go. They're going to try for another banana. Aggressive play is seized, finds one, gets traded off. Flamey, same situation, finds one, traded off, so now they're going to take into B, but this time they will have a good enough smoke that Guardian has to rotate around to Garden. Wow. That flick, though. Nico boosted up, and he's able to take him down. This man, I need to eat whatever he's eating first thing in the morning.
I don't know if that's going to be healthy. I don't know if your body could handle it because
right?
he's on a whole other level. He's superhuman. That said, though, it's going to be Dignitas on 8, so they Na'Vi kind of get shut down a little bit, but that's only their second round in this half, and money's still pretty grim, whereas we look at Na'Vi's side. It started to come back a little bit. Flamey 150. He's died a fair few times. Last couple rounds have been a little closer. 3 alive. Obviously, though, they've lost 2 out of the last 3. That really hurts, and it's a good thing they had the start they did, because now they'll be able to get guns right back up. MSL's going to try and get aggressive, though, on Zeus. He was actually forward of the fire, but smart to fall back because he would have been alone from his teammates.
And AZ going to get smoked off here in Banana as Na'Vi, they drop the smoke. It's about halfway down. Allows them to push out near car. Sees actually throwing some bullets through the smoke. Guardian actually might be tested as MSL just dive bombs right through the smoke. Can't find the frag, though, and Guardian just casually sprays through the smoke after and takes Nico down to 30. So in the process, actually, Zeus onto KRB. So 5-on-3. Dignitas, this is looking bleak. And wow, I think my GoTV just lagged momentarily there. Guardian there with 2 big headshots. Zeus with 1 as well. But that all happened just in a moment's notice for me. I'm not sure if you had that same experience on your GoTV.
Well, there's usually something that indicates. And where it's match point, I would suggest that might be the case. But we'll see.
We will find out, yeah. As Dignitas, not the equipment they were really looking for coming into this round. As Kirby, he's done amazing things with the Deagle. How's this Dooley's game? That's what I want to see.
Flash comes up, does blind out 2 Na'Vi players. In fact, Flamey almost gets caught. He may have the favor of distracting right now as Cease was waiting in sandbags. AZ realized it, but then they re-peeked out on Flamey's effect, and he'll catch 2 now in MSL. As Kirby realizes he has to go back for the bomb. 2 men down already. And they're just swarming. Smoke deep this time on Banana, so it's actually going to be Na'Vi using the play that I made mention of the Danish teams typically using. Look how much positional in Banana that gives them. Just being so far down. Now they can actually rotate if they wanted. Cease could leave Banana. Flamey just stays put. He makes the call if they come back. Flamey's going to do the opposite. He's going to push through, so now Cease will hold it alone. But Nico gets him. Edward, he comes right back into Pimp. It's down to a 2-on-4.
Oh, and Zeus is going to take down Nico. Only KRB left. And high note, T-Stair is going to hop through this smoke seized. He's going to be waiting
I think he was just looking for a stylish knife at that point.
Exactly.
I think he was just hoping for some consolation prize in that one because he wasn't getting out of that situation with the low HP he had. So 16-8 Na'Vi, heck of a performance. In particular, just before they leave the server, Guardian 28 kills, and that's pretty huge. That's ridiculous when he shows up like that. And again, he's such an aggressive player. I think we highlighted enough that if he showed up on this map, it would be a huge problem. And now